Good evening. This is Reginald Maclin of RMC News and Sports. I am obviously not home. I'm actually on the road in Overland Park, Kansas. I'm working, but the show must go on, and so it is our goal to bring the latest news and sports and updates to you. So, show must go on. So, as you all know, that we have a very important game that will be taking place this Sunday in Miami, where you have the San Francisco 49ers facing the Kansas City Chiefs for the right to be called Super Bowl champion. We're going to talk about their paths to the Super Bowl. And we're going to talk about their strengths, weaknesses, and how they may be able to beat the other team. And then finally, I will give my pick on who's going to win the Super Bowl. Don't get mad. Once again, this is just an analysis. Doesn't mean that I'm going for that particular team. It's just I am trying to call them like I see them, right? And we do have a poll that you'll see at the very beginning of this video, and it kind of will pop in the middle of it. So feel free to vote. Let me know, hey, Reg, you're right, this is the team that's going to win, or Reg, you're totally wrong, and this team is going to win. So, and then of course, make sure that you put in your comments and subscribe below. So let's go ahead and we'll start. The San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers finished the regular season with an NFL best 13-3 record. They faced the Vikings in the divisional playoffs, where they beat them 27-10, and then in the NFC Championship they played the Packers and they beat them 37-20. Meanwhile, on the AFC side, Kansas City finished the regular season with a record of 12-4, and they were the number 2 seed in the AFC. Kansas City knocked off the Texans in an exciting matchup. As you know, and for those of you who watched, the Texans were up 24-0 on Kansas City, and then all of a sudden in the second quarter, Kansas City nails them with a barrage, and at the half, Kansas City was up 28-24. Eventually, Kansas City would beat the Houston Texans 51-31 in the divisional playoffs. Then the Chiefs faced the upstart Tennessee Titans, which had knocked off the Patriots and knocked off the Baltimore Ravens in order to get to the AFC Championship game. It was a nice game. Kansas City was able to go and overcome a 10-0 deficit and to beat the Tennessee Titans 35-24 in the AFC Championship game. Now, looking at both the offenses and defenses of both of the teams. Now, San Francisco had, at the end of the regular season, they were the number 2 ranked defense within the league. They were only behind the Patriots. And then their offense, they were ranked number 4. Chiefs, they had the number 6 ranked offense, of course, led by Patrick Mahomes, and then the number 17th ranked defense within the NFL. Turnover ratio is concerned. Even though San Francisco was able to, their defense were able to get a whole bunch of turnovers, their offense was turning over the ball as well. So looking at the turnover ratio, Kansas City actually has a higher ratio than the San Francisco 49ers. The Chiefs were +8. Meanwhile, San Francisco was +4. And so Kansas City did a little bit better job as far as taking care of the ball than San Francisco. Looking at their common opponents, both Kansas City and San Francisco played the Green Bay Packers, the Baltimore Ravens, and the Minnesota Vikings. Kansas City, when dealing with the Packers, they lost to the Packers 31-24 in Week 8. This was during a period of time that Patrick Mahomes was injured. Meanwhile, the Packers obviously lost to San Francisco twice. Were actually, you could just say, humbled, embarrassed. It was just it was ugly. But San Francisco beat the Packers 37-8 in Week 12, and then 37-20 in the NFC Championship game. As far as Baltimore Ravens are concerned, San Francisco lost a heartbreaker to the Baltimore Ravens in Week 13. They lost 20-17. This was the game that their starting kicker, Robbie Gould, was out, and so they had a replacement kicker that was there. San Francisco had opportunity to tie the game, but unfortunately the kicker missed the field goal and Baltimore walked away with the victory. Meanwhile, Kansas City beat the Ravens early in the NFL season in Week 3, where they beat the Ravens 33-28. And then the final common opponent that they had, both of them played Minnesota and both of them beat Minnesota. Kansas City won 26-23 in Week 9, and then obviously San Francisco beat Minnesota in the divisional playoffs 27-10. And so looking at those matchups, once again, it's very close. I mean, I think out of the common opponents that you're looking at, it seems like San Francisco probably had the most convincing victories over the teams that they played versus what Kansas City did. But, they won and they've lost, or they both won against the same team. So this is very interesting. And looking at the 49ers and we'll talk about their offense first. And it's going to be a tougher matchup for the Kansas City Chiefs defense. You're not facing Ryan Tannehill this week. Jimmy G, he's one of the top rated quarterbacks in the NFL. And even though that they're known for their running game, Jimmy G can pass. And so the running game that they have, led by Raheem Mostert, will open up the pass game for them. They have more weapons than Tennessee. You look at their wide receivers, Deebo Samuel, and then of course their midseason acquisition of Emmanuel Sanders, and then of course the outstanding play of Oklahoma native George Kittle. It makes it very tough on opposing defenses to try to stop that offense, especially if they can get that running game going. Then it gives them room, it gives space for their wide receiver core to get the ball. Defensively, once again, you're looking at the number 2 defense, and unlike the Patriots, which Patriots were, and how can I say this? The Patriots were lucky to play in the AFC East, and so they were able to get their numbers were inflated by that, and plus they also played against the NFC East, which was absolutely dreadful this year. So I think that their numbers were actually overly inflated. So you can probably just say arguably that San Francisco had the best defense in the NFL. Looking at your edge rushers like Nick Bosa, he's going to provide a lot of pressure, and it's going to be up to those edge rushers to contain Patrick Mahomes and don't let him get out of the pocket and scramble for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 yards or more. In the secondary wise, the secondary led by Richard Sherman. Once again, it's very tough to deal with, but once again, they're going to have a very tough matchup against Kansas City's wide receiver core, which I'll go into that more in depth here in a little bit. But then they have one of the best rush defenses in the NFL, and so they'll be able to probably contain Damian Williams. So it's probably Kansas City is going to have to rely on their passing game to open up the running game, or they may have to rely on Patrick Mahomes as far as the running game is concerned. But that front seven is very tough to beat, and they've proven it throughout the season. And so Kansas City is going to have to bring their A game when they play them on Sunday. Now, looking at the Kansas City Chiefs, obviously very formidable. Patrick Mahomes is one of the top-rated quarterbacks within the NFL. He can beat you with his arm. He can beat you running. And so if San Francisco is unable to contain him, he's going to cut them. He can cut them with 1,000 cuts, and this will be quite painful. And they would possibly have the capability of running up the score on them if San Francisco does not stop them. And they need to stop them early too, because you can see and stop them early and often. You can kind of see if you look at the Texans game and if you look at the Titans game, the Chiefs, they started off in a hole, but they're a quick strike offense. They can be a quick strike offense, and they can come back in a hurry. And so it's a matter of once you have that foot on the neck of not laying up. And so I would say probably within the Texans, they probably were like, hey, we're up 24-0. So we pretty much have this made. And Kansas City was like, no, we still have 3 more quarters to play, and they proved them by dropping 51 points on them. So the wide receiver core, and or as you say, the receiving core of the Kansas City Chiefs, it's going to be very hard to stop. And you look at obviously tight end Travis Kelce, the speedsters. You have Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, McCole Hardman. They are going to put a lot of pressure within that secondary. Kelsey's going to be very hard to stop. I mean, it's just kind of like Kittle's going to be hard to stop as well. But I think Kansas City has more I guess you say X factors than San Francisco. But San Francisco has a tougher defense than Kansas City has proven so far. But if you get those going, and then if you get the running of Damian Williams going on, and then of course Patrick Mahomes can, even if you have your coverage and you have the wide receivers locked up, if the defense isn't getting close or getting a hand on Mahomes, he can break off a long run on you too. So it's just, there are a lot of different things that San Francisco's defense is going to have to focus on. Defensively, even though the Chiefs have struggled some, if you're going to say just in the overall scope of their performance throughout the year, from week 11 on, they averaged a total league low of 11.5 points allowed. Look at their defense and how they performed against Derrick Henry in the AFC Championship game, where they shut him down. I think he had like a total of 69 yards for the entire game. And so the San Francisco run offense is going to be really tough, and they actually have a 3-headed monster that they would utilize in order to wear that defense down. But once again, it's going to be up to Frank Clark, and then of course the secondary led by the Honey Badger, who Honey Badger just don't care. He does what he wants. It's going to be up to them to make sure that they are, make sure that they're paying close attention to what's going on, making sure that they're playing the right coverages against this 49er offense to give their team a chance to win the game. So I don't know about you, I am just really excited to see this matchup play out. I don't have a dog in the fight because my team is like every other team that's sitting on the sidelines. But as a football fan, I'm really excited to see the Super Bowl You have the 49ers who are trying to get their 6th ring. The Kansas City Chiefs, who haven't been back in the this will be the first time back in the Super Bowl in 50 years, so they're looking for their 2nd ring. And so it's a matter of who comes out with the most intensity and making sure that they don't make a lot of mistakes that will cost their team. So looking and analyzing who is going to win this game, it is hard to go against the San Francisco defense. It is very difficult to do that. You look at how consistent they have been throughout the entire year. Yes, they've had some losses, etc., but for the most part, they've been very consistent. And so I think it'll be very difficult for the Kansas City offense, especially if they don't get points early, to hang with them. But then on the flip side of it, the Kansas City's defense has an opportunity to stop the San Francisco offense. So it's a matter of being able to make plays and being disciplined. And so looking at both of the teams, I believe that the Kansas City Chiefs will be the Super Bowl champions. It's going to be a close game. Prognosticators, some of them people are saying that the Chiefs will blow out the 49ers. That's not going to happen unless there's just some sort of disaster. But it's going to be a close game. I anticipate that it's going to be at least the 7 points or under as far as the margin is concerned. It wouldn't surprise me if the 49ers pull off an upset. And so just looking at it, I have to go with the Kansas City Chiefs. So anyway, that's my analysis. I hope that you liked it. I know for those of you who are 49er fans, you probably didn't. But once again, it's just an opinion. So, but I would love for you guys to go in and put in your comments and what you think about it. Make sure to do the poll. Make sure to subscribe. We have our Facebook page, once again, which is RMC News, and then we have our YouTube page, which is also RMC News. Make sure to just subscribe to both of them so that way you don't miss anything. If you have any sort of news or any events that are going on within Oklahoma City metropolitan area, it could be in Tulsa, Lawton, or I guess within the state of Oklahoma itself, and even outside of it, if we're able to make it, just go ahead and drop us. You can email us at rmcnewsokc@gmail.com, or you can contact me via Facebook, or you can Twitter at Reg Maclin, or you can contact my partner, is Mary Lucas-Eriven as well, and she will contact me and we'll discuss and see what we can do to go ahead and make film your event, or talk about whether it's going to be politics, or if there's things that are going on just within your community that you want to have that spotlight on it. If we're able to make it happen, we'll be more than happy to do that. So once again, thank you for taking the time out to listen to this video. Remember to subscribe below, and I will see you next time. Peace.